Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Ninja Storm episode, Nowhere to Grow. This episode is a mess. This is a horrible mess. Or actually, it's an okay, enjoyable mess. But yeah, narratively this is definitely one of the weakest episodes of Ninja Storm so far. I think this episode might have been one of the first completed, so I'm guessing this was probably made before a lot of elements had been really solidified and they really had figured out exactly what they were doing. Because I remember seeing there was a promo tape put out of this episode as like a preview for Ninja Storm. Also, this episode was included as a level in the Game Boy video game of Ninja Storm, so this was definitely one of the earlier episodes because that game took inspiration for each level from specific early episodes. So anyway, it starts off the Rangers are out really late one night shooting a skating video, I guess, and then they happen to see some Kelzacs and a new monster. The Rangers get into a fight with them, and let's see, the Rangers take this plant bulb that was left behind to Sensei Watanabe. And Sensei Watanabe says that he knows a botanist, Dr. Belrab, who may know something about it. Cam wants to take it, and Sensei is like, "No, Cam, you must not go alone." So then Cam takes it alone. Okay. The episode though doesn't really show like what was bad about this or what exactly negative Sensei thought would come of this. The story is really sloppy and flimsy, and it gets kind of it gets muddier as it goes along. So let's see. Anyway, Cam takes the plant to Dr. Belrab, and Dr. Belrab is your typical goofball doctor, and he tells Cam that the plant could grow giant and potentially dangerous if given special mineral water. So then Cam leaves, and oh yeah, also Shane, Tori, and Dustin, they see Cam going to the greenhouse to talk to Dr. Belrab, and they're like, let's follow him, because he was told not to do this, and this is suspicious. So then Tori and Dustin go inside the greenhouse while Shane, oh wait, was Shane there? I can't remember what Shane was doing. I didn't write it in my notes. Okay, well anyway, Tori and Dustin go in the greenhouse, and they run into these two people there, and it's Mara and Capri in disguise. Why are they here? Like, Lothor didn't know. Like, there was no setup for Lothor tracking where the Rangers were going. He didn't know they were going to this greenhouse. Like, if that was the thing, like, if Sensei knew Lothor was, like, watching and spying on the Rangers, it would make a little bit more sense for why he didn't want Cam to go alone. Cam doesn't have Ranger powers, so maybe Sensei wanted Cam to wait until the Rangers were, like, there so they could go with him or something. I don't exactly know why Mara and Capri are there. It just seems to be a really big coincidence that as a kid and like even as an adult before when I was watching the show, this episode just came across as just another episode. I wasn't looking at it analytically or in depth or anything. But when I am watching it like that, this kind of thing really stands out. There's no reason narratively for Mara and Capri to be there in disguise, already prepared to capture the Rangers. They act like they knew they were coming there. So anyway, they tie up Tori and Dustin with some vines. Shane is following Cam. He has no idea what happened to Tori and Dustin. And then, let's see, Cam gets attacked by Kelzacs and he manages to hold his own against them, but Shane jumps in to help anyway. They fight off the Kelzacs, and Cam explains that he went to this special lake near Ninja Ops to get some special mineral water to give the plant as an experiment. And the Kelzacs wanted the mineral water that he was getting. Which is weird. Why couldn't the Kelzacs, like, the Kelzacs didn't need the water that Cam specifically was getting. Like, if they wanted the plant bulb to get the mineral water, well, Cam has it. He's obviously going to use it. So they should have just sat back, waited for him to leave, then they could go in with some buckets and get all the water they wanted from the lake without him even noticing. Him and Shane wouldn't even have known. Like, the Kelzacs aren't the smartest, they're just drones, so maybe, like, they wouldn't think that far ahead, but I don't know, it just comes across as kind of sloppy writing to me, because it's kind of like they just wanted a fight scene there to have a fight scene, and I don't really know why Cam had to give the explanation that they're trying to get the water I got from this lake that's just sitting there. Like, the water in the bottle is the same as the water in the lake. Oh, and then the Kelzacks never come back. They don't go back to the lake after Shane and Cam leave. Whoops. Yeah. Dropped my notes. Where am I? Okay, so anyway, at Ninja Ops, Cam performs an experiment on the plant samples, and then Tori and Dustin, meanwhile, escape by utilizing Tori's ability to manipulate water, and it's extremely awkward, and I do remember this scene from when I was a kid, and I thought it was just as dumb as I do now. Let's see. She uses her power to, like, take some water from somewhere and, like, shoot it up at, like, where there's light coming through a window, and so the white refracts through the water and then burns the vines that are holding her and Dustin captive. Mara and Capri apparently didn't have any guards in place or anything. Actually, why did Mara and Capri tie them up there? Why didn't they take them up to Lothor? Anyway, there is a nice thing. They do try to lampshade how kind of forced and dumb this plot device of the refracting light is. I feel like they could have done this so much better. Like, I don't know, maybe they were writing it with something in their head about how it would look, and then when they, like, were actually shooting it, they couldn't wrap their heads around how to do it, so they just gave up and did, she shoots water up. So anyway, the light's coming down, it burns through the vines, and there's a part where Dustin's like, "Ow, Tori, watch it," or something. Which is a nice little thing that helps to lampshade how dumb this is. I think a better way would have been if there was, like, a glass of water sitting next to the window, and Tori was able to, like, manipulate the water so it starts, like, sloshing back and forth, and each time it sloshes, it, like, moves the glass over a little bit until it's, like, in front of the light, and then it, like, goes through the cup, because I don't think light going through just, like, water, a water spurt would be enough to, like, create a burning beam. Whenever I see, like, a burning beam, it's usually because it's going through glass, and it seems like a glass cup would, like, work a little better than water on its own. I don't know. Maybe there's a scientific explanation for it, whatever. Moving on. Oh yeah, the plants that Cam is experimenting on and Ninja Ops are starting to grow out of control and consume more of the special water than they should, while his back is turned. This is another very dumb, sloppy part of the episode, especially because of, like, just how it's shot, where the characters are. They should really notice this. It's also tonally very strange. While this is going on, Cam is talking with Sensei about how he doesn't think he's as useful as he could be. He wants to join the Rangers. He wants to work more closely with the Rangers. And Sensei's like, "I'm sorry, Cam, I can't do that." And Cam's like, "Well, why not?" And Sensei's like, "I made a promise to your mother to keep you out of danger. She didn't want you to become a Ranger." And Cam is like, "She would have wanted me to fulfill my full potential." And Sensei's just like, "I'm afraid we'll never know." And that pushes forward the idea that, yeah, his mother, or I think they might just actually, I can't remember now exactly, but yeah, his mother's dead, and they pretty much make it very clear here that, yeah, his mother's dead. She made Sensei Watanabe promise her that he wouldn't allow Cam to become a ranger because she thought it would be dangerous, and Sensei's trying to respect her wishes. Cam doesn't think that's fair, and it's a really good scene. Unfortunately, we have the plant growing out of control very obviously behind Cam. Sensei's looking right at it, and even when Cam walks away, and it's very obvious the plant's going all over the place, Watanabe's just like, "Okay, whatever." It's very dumb. Anyway, let's see. Tori and Dustin find Dr. Belrab, who was also tied up in the greenhouse, because... And Dr. Belrab tells them that the monster is growing plants down in the basement of the greenhouse. I guess a greenhouse can have a basement. It's just very strange. I live in the U.S. I know greenhouses, like, around here. They never have basements. I guess, I don't know, they could, but it's not something I usually, like, see. So anyway, they go down there, and, let's see, the monster's plant has grown giant. It breaks up through the ceiling. They contact Shane. He goes to help the others. And then Ninja Ops is overgrown by the plants, and then Cam tells the Rangers that, let's see, they have some new abilities they can use. So they use the new abilities to defeat the giant plant, and then they fight the monster. They destroy the monster. Lothor makes it grow. The Rangers call the Megazords, or the Zords, which forms the Megazord. They destroy the monster for good. Then back at Ninja Ops, the vines all disintegrate after the monster is defeated. And Sensei gives the Rangers a punishment for staying out late at the beginning of the episode, even though by this point it would have been like a day or two later. Whatever. And he has them go on a 10-mile jog, and also Cam, because Cam disobeyed him and went on his own. But then Sensei tells him that he can join the Rangers in ninja training, which makes Cam happy. And it's a cool end to the episode. So there's a few good moments in here, but it is a really messy episode with, I think, a bit way too much going on. Let's see, the biggest problem I have is definitely Cam and Sensei not noticing the very obvious plant growing out of control. It's also kind of weird that Cam, like, Dr. Belrab tells him, oh yeah, this plant could grow big enough to destroy the Earth with this special water, and Cam's like, oh cool, I have special water to put on this plant. I can see for myself if it's going to do that. I don't really know what exactly Cam was trying to accomplish with his experiment. Also, I don't know why he took his eyes off it. If the plant is supposedly really dangerous, why did you look away from it? I know you and Sensei, your father, were having an important conversation, but it seems like the really dangerous plant behind you is of equal importance. Moving on. Mara and Capri at the greenhouse. I don't know why in the world they're there. I don't know why one of them is disguised as a male doctor. I'm wondering if maybe this episode was cut down a bit, like if there was originally more content, because Mara and Capri's disguises are pretty good. Like, they pass as men, although Capri can't really do a man voice. It makes me think that, were these supposed to be assistants to Dr. Belrab? Like, originally, they overhear the Rangers, they know where they're going, so then they sneak in, they knock out... Oh yeah, and that's something. The way they capture Tori and Dustin is they use this plant that shoots out a gas that knocks them out. And I'm thinking... Like, that never comes back again, so I'm thinking it was maybe initially a bigger thing. Like, maybe they go in there, they see Dr. Belrab's assistants, they use the plant to knock them out, and then they steal their outfits, dress up as them. And that would explain why Capri went out of her way to dress up like a man with a fake mustache. Then again, later on in the series, they do wear quite a few silly costumes and some pretty extreme costumes. So I don't know, maybe this is just an ability they have to change their appearance. Whatever. And also, the weird thing is, after they capture Tori and Dustin, they just leave them unguarded in the greenhouse. Why? Why didn't they take them back to Lothor? Oh. And then there's the special mineral water thing. Like, why didn't the Kelzaks just take it from the lake? Why didn't they come back after Shane and Cam left? I don't know. I do like all the stuff with Cam and his father, although it is dumb that they don't notice the plant, but aside from that, taken on its own, it's a nice conversation, it's a nice scene that reveals a lot of character about both of them. Oh yeah, one of the really cool things here, the monster of this episode, Florabundicus. That's a name. She has a really soft female voice that really stands out among other voices. There's no effect on it or anything. It doesn't even really... She's not even voice acted to sound threatening or anything. It's like a very sweet, like, kind of comforting voice. And Ninja Storm so far has had some really good voice acting for the monsters, and it just makes me all the more surprised that later on the monster voices would become like one of the weakest elements of Power Rangers, because like the last couple of years I was thinking like maybe New Zealand just doesn't have a very good like cast of voice actors, like there's not a lot of voice acting talent or something coming out of New Zealand, but in these early episodes they're fine. Like, I would have been fine if these were the voice actors that stuck around for years, but unfortunately, I don't think a lot of these voice actors did. Because after this, the monsters, for the most part, just have the same kind of voices. They're all just deep, growly voices. If you have a female character, it's a loud, screechy voice. I think this voice, it's definitely different. It's different from anything, even in the Saban era, but it fits for the monster, who's supposed to be a motherly monster trying to raise these plants that she calls her children. So anyway, that's anything. Not a whole lot else to say about the episode. It's a messy episode. It's definitely got some flaws, but it's still an enjoyable episode. And what do we got next? I think it goes from this to another... Okay, Snippet, good. Okay, so that's the next episode, and then we got Return of Thunder with the Return of the Thunder Rangers. And it's a 4-parter. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, whatever. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.